This video, we're going to talk about 1.1 Objective 2, where we distinguish between a parameter and a statistic. A parameter is a numerical description of a population characteristic, and a statistic is a numerical description of a sample characteristic. Let's determine whether the statement is true or false, and if false, we write it as a true statement. A statistic is a measure that describes a population characteristic. That's false. A statistic is a measure that describes a sample characteristic, as we just defined it earlier. Determine whether the following statement is true or false, and if it's false, we write it as a true statement. A sample statistic will not change from sample to sample. That's false. A sample statistic can change from sample to sample. So that's B. Determine whether the underlined value is a parameter or a statistic. Telephone interviews of 1,502 adults 18 years of age or older found that only 69% could identify the current vice president. That's a statistic because it is describing the characteristic of the sample of 1,502 adults ages 18 years old and older that were surveyed. It's not descriptive of all adults that are of 18 years of age or older. So determine whether the underlying numerical value is a parameter or statistic and explain the reasoning. A survey of a sample of 1,050 teenagers, 17% said they like to watch soccer. So that is a statistic because the data set of a sample of 1,050 teenagers is a sample. That's G. And now for number 6, determine whether the underlying number represents a population parameter or a sample statistic and explain the reasoning. 64 of the 91 passengers aboard an airship survived an explosion. So that is C. The number is a population parameter because it is a numerical description of all the passengers that survived. And 7, determine whether the underlying number is a statistic or parameter. A sample of students is selected, and it was found that 45% own a computer. So that is a statistic because the value is a numerical measurement describing a characteristic of a sample. That one right there. And last question for this video is number 8. Determine whether the underlying number describes a population parameter or a sample statistic. Explain the reasoning. A survey of 2,207 adults in the country found that 84% think that militant terrorists are a major threat to the well-being of their country. And the number is a sample statistic because it describes the people in a sample, which is a subset of all the people of the country. So that's B. All right, that's it for this video, and we'll come back next time and talk about 1.1 Objective 3. See you for the next video.